Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to do two reviews today, kind of back to back. We're going to do Obi-Wan and Stranger Things Season 4. And one of these shows is significantly better than the other.
Yes.
Guess which one.
Yeah.
It's not going to be very hard. We're going to do Obi-Wan first, and then we'll do Stranger Things 4 later. We actually did binge both of these shows over the weekend. We never do that because we're very busy. But
we both were really tired yesterday and not feeling well.
Yeah, so we kind of chilled out a little bit, and we watched one of the shows with our family. One of the shows our kids were very excited about, and the other one they didn't care about at all.
They had no desire to watch it.
Again,
whatsoever.
you guess which one it was.
Yeah.
So there are going to be some spoilers in this video. We're going to talk about the show objectively, at least the 2 episodes that we've had so far, and this is one that I actually was looking forward to.
I was too.
Past tense. Anyway, before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 269,000 subs, something like that. I don't know. Somewhere in there. We do talk about pop culture. We talk about Disney. We talk about Star Wars, not as much as we used to, because I'm going to be completely honest with you. And I'm going to tell you this before we get into the review. I am 100% over Star Wars. Like, I don't care anymore.
I care more than you do.
Yeah, you still care. Like, I even look at original trilogy stuff now because of all the drama with Lucasfilm and Disney and all this 5-6 years of bullshit that's been going on with Lucasfilm going back and forth.
Most of the media.
In the media. I don't care about Star Wars. I look at original trilogy stuff. I don't want it.
But see, I actually will buy original trilogy stuff, but when I see like the movies are playing or whatever, I just don't want to watch any of them. Like, I used to still watch them anyway, but now I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I normally would be like, oh my God, it's on, I have to watch it. And now, and I hate that. Like, I really genuinely hate that I feel that way. It makes me sad. It makes me very, very sad.
Oh yeah, I feel
cry about it. It's like losing a friend. It's like losing a childhood friend.
It's like, well, then you are lost. That's pretty much how I feel about it. So, I mean, it's hard for me to even bring myself to watch anything Star Wars. I did not watch Book of Boba Fett other than the one episode with Mandalorian.
We watched a couple, and then we were like, We never finished it.
I never finished that one. I was just like, I'm not interested. I have zero interest in any of the other shows coming up, but Obi-Wan I was interested in because, believe it or not, I actually like the prequels. I don't. You did, yeah. I don't love them, but I actually do like them. And the best part of the prequels, I always thought, was Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
Well, I gotta tell you, a lot more people like them now.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yes. Comparatively speaking, the prequels are superior to the sequel trilogy, I guess. But so do we want to give what, like a first spoiler-free reaction? And
and then we'll do spoilers at the end. That way you don't have to turn it off until the end if you want to be not spoiled.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it was okay. Like it was something. One thing I will say, to be fair, we had just watched Stranger Things.
Yeah. And
we should have watched this one first.
Yeah.
Because when you see Stranger Things season 4 first and then this, it kind of, I think, made this one I might have had a better impression of it had I seen it first. But I also know that I was finding myself feeling through the show, like, is it over yet? Is the episode over yet? And that usually for me is a bad sign.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to give any more thoughts before?
Well,
we can't really get into that.
Well, we can say the one thing. I mean, I will say, Obi-Wan is dealing with a lot of shit, which I think was like, okay. I do think that's not a bad way to go. That's not a spoiler thing. Everybody knew they were talking about like what it's like to be somebody like post-war type thing, and I think they do that well. I mean, it makes sense. Some of the choices they do make sense, but then they don't make sense, which I can't explain that unless we talk about it in spoiler territory. The Leia's it's not the actor. Well, Leia's not that good. I'm sorry. She reminds us of young Anakin, and a lot of it is the dialogue.
Yeah. We'll
talk about that more.
Yeah, that's kind of spoilery.
That's not really spoiler. Everybody knew she was going to be in it.
Yeah.
That wasn't spoiling anything.
But, I mean, we can't really talk about more without spoiling it. So
we'll get to the spoiler part for that.
I'm gonna talk about what you were saying about looking worse after Stranger Things 4. It looks worse all the way around. This is what surprised me. This is a Star Wars show. This is on Disney Plus. This is featuring an original trilogy character and characters. And you'd think they'd throw everything they had at it. Stranger Things 4, everything. The cinematography, the acting, the music, the pacing, the amount of content. I mean, I know Stranger Things, part of me was like, you know, they're paying how much per episode for the show? But then you look at it and you're like, every episode was almost feature length. Every episode was well edited, well shot, well whatever. And I'm like, this feels to me like it was like, hurry up, just crap out another Disney Plus Star Wars show. You know? And some of the CGI looked very basic. Now, some of it, I was kind of like, they made things look like super shiny and stuff. I'm like, oh, are they doing that intentionally to make it mesh up with the prequels? Because a lot of stuff looked kind of fakey now compared to, you know, the original trilogy. But I was also like, you know, this is Disney, and you guys don't seem to be spending as much on Obi-Wan as Netflix is spending on Stranger Things, obviously. And it did drag. That's the thing. These episodes were like half as long as Stranger Things, and they were like 45 minutes or whatever. And they dragged. We did
get John Williams doing the Obi-Wan theme.
Yeah, that was good. His theme's pretty good, but it was very the pacing is off. It was very, very slow. The first episode especially was...
That'd be fair, the first episode of Stranger Things Season 4.
Yeah, that's true.
Which we'll talk about in that review.
But it does feel like in this one with Obi-Wan, it's like, this is, you know, just call this Obi-Wan is sad old man. That's the whole episode. And it just dragged. It was like, here's a day in the life of Obi-Wan.
Repeatedly.
Repeatedly. Rinse and repeat. He's gone to work. He's doing the thing. You know, whatever. So we'll get more into that. Honestly, from what I've seen so far, I'm leaning toward C and D territory because I'm not impressed.
I'm sure everybody's like, well, how is Reva?
We'll
get to the spoiler thing, but I don't think we don't know what her motivation is yet, but I think that's kind of one of those, we'll reveal it as we go type things. But I mean, honestly, I didn't think, the character, she's a wooden character. Well, she is because that's the character. Like, you know what I mean? That's kind of the character. So that's not necessarily the actress, the character. That's hard to explain. But I wasn't that distracted by it. Were you?
She wasn't in it as much as I expect her to be. She might be in it more.
We're only 2 episodes in.
Yeah.
Well, how many is there? Like 6 in this one?
There's only 6.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're not off to a real good start. We're a third of the way through this show.
Well, yeah.
And it's like, there's still, it doesn't feel like we've even gotten into the story really yet.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. All right, let's just get into the spoiler stuff.
Okay, here comes the spoilers. If you don't want the spoilers, please turn us off now. If you don't give a shit and you want to hear the spoilers, then continue to listen because here they come. All
right, so Obi-Wan Kenobi is a sad old man.
Yeah.
He's
a broken man.
He's a broken man.
Ish.
He lost. They lost. The Jedi lost. They're being hunted by the Inquisitors. We know this. This is from Rebels too. In fact, we get the Grand Inquisitor. We'll talk more about that because he's kind of punk ass in this one. He kind of goes down like a punk, but
well, he might heal himself. Who knows?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like, okay, so Obi-Wan is apparently living, and it's been 10 years, and he likes to creep out and spy on Luke. Occasionally, but mostly he works at the meat factory in the hot desert.
Yeah, I'm sure it smells great. The Jawa makes.
And every day he takes a piece of the extra meat off to go feed his
Eppies,
yeah,
space camel.
But the thing is, it's funny because you think that after a while he kind of catch on that he's the one cutting the piece of meat off. But apparently he gets maybe Jedi mind tricks him to thinking that it's all there. Who knows?
Yeah.
He's out there spying on Luke. That's about all we get to see of Luke.
Yeah. So, look, people talk about the bait and switch. So let's rip this Band-Aid off. This is not the show that people thought they were getting. They thought they were getting a show where it was going to be Obi-Wan watching over Luke Skywalker and yada, yada, yada. The bait and switch is, I don't think it was it mentioned in the trailers that it's basically all about Leia, little Leia?
It's only been 2 episodes in though. But yeah, and it's you see Luke, like this little section is about all you see of Luke. And he does have the ship. He bought the ship, the little toy ship that, he bought the toy ship for Luke and tried to leave it there. And Owen brought it back to him and told him he wasn't allowed to give it to him, which is probably going to be relevant later if the rumors are true.
If the rumors are true, that's going to anger a lot of people.
That's kind of shit.
Yeah.
But that's about all you see of Luke. And that's just to establish that he's there watching over Luke, I think. But mostly it's Ben Kenobi's, sad now, goes to work at the meat factory. No one knows he's a Jedi. He buried his lightsaber in the desert. I mean, understandable, all things, under the circumstances.
What if you get a job with a metal detector?
Yeah, I know, right? And he knew exactly where it was in all the desert. I mean, maybe his lightsaber's calling to him. I don't know. But I was like, then why don't you just use it? Oh, he can't use the Force. I was like, pull it out of the sand that way. But no, he can't. We got to leave tracks in a big hole.
Yeah. But, I have to be honest, I was kind of like, what kind of story are we really going to have about Obi-Wan? Like, sitting in his hut for 20 years... kicking around, talking to Qui-Gon.
To be fair, though, it does make sense. I mean, they have him like, he's obviously traumatized. It's like, I think it's their allegory for like people coming back from the war.
Yeah.
And some of the psychological damage that's done when you see your friends get killed and different things and you did things you wouldn't normally do. And I think they do that okay. I get that. It makes sense. He's trying to stay hidden. He almost let Owen get killed.
Yeah, that was... some grade A cowardice.
Let another Jedi get killed.
Yes, I have a huge issue with that.
Because Obi-Wan wouldn't do that.
No.
Okay.
So this show, this is my thing. Is like, one, we're looking at Luke Skywalker syndrome again, where I got the feeling that in the original trilogy Obi-Wan was laying low, but he wasn't a gutless fucking coward. Mm-hmm. And this one, I'm like, he's a gutless fucking coward.
And what I don't understand is he told the one Jedi to go bury his lightsaber and hide because the Jedi found him. And he's like, I'm not Obi-Wan, I'm Ben now. And my advice to you is bury your lightsaber and leave. And all that. Because you can't let anybody know you have the Force. He told the Jedi that. But later he says to Owen about how he's going to train Luke. And I'm like, wait, I thought you weren't allowed to do that. And then later they show that he doesn't hardly have use of his powers now because he hasn't used it in 10 years. He had a heck of time stopping Leia from falling.
He can't get it up anymore.
Apparently, it's there you go. Allegory for impotence.
Force impotence.
But I'm like, how do you think he's going to train Luke? If you're not allowed to use your Force and you should bury your lightsaber and hide so they don't find you, how the flip did he think he was going to train Luke?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that don't make sense about this. Basically, this show exists because original trilogy character... It's a bridge between the prequels and the original trilogy, and we could get Ewan McGregor, and that's why the show exists. I mean, I don't think there was a story to tell. I think everybody knew the story. Obi-Wan went into hiding. Occasionally, he would help Luke out. Even in the comics, like they had stories where he would help. Luke got lost when he was like 10. It seems to be where they're going because there was a comic story where Luke got lost with his friend, I think it was Wendy, when they were about 10 years old. And that's how he knew Ben when he saw him. So that made sense. What doesn't make sense is him having this whole adventure with Princess Leia.
And she doesn't know who he is.
Who doesn't even obviously know who he is because she's like, hey, General Kenobi, unless she doesn't know him as General Kenobi because he just goes by Ben.
That could be too, because he said his name was Ben. So that could be too. That's probably what they'll go with is he said his name was Ben and she thinks it's a different person.
A different Jedi that follows my father during the Clone Wars.
Yeah, apparently.
There's so many of them. Well, there were, but still. Yeah, so that brings us to the elephant in the room, which is little Leia. You're going to see a lot of her. You're going to see a lot of her. This is
actually, you see her way more than Reva.
This show so far is the little Leia adventures. And I swear to God, when she's in the woods running around, I'm like, this is like one of those made for TV Ewok movies.
Yeah, you did say that. You're like, this feels like one of the Ewok adventures.
It's like, look, it's a little girl with space buns running around in the redwood forest. This is totally the Ewok adventure. And oh my God, she's got a batteries not included droid.
Yeah, that's the Ewok now. And it's not like... It's not the actress's fault. The dialogue's kind of shit. And Leia, okay, I think in some ways they get her snark. Because, she always kind of was, sarcastic, I guess is the sarcasm. But it comes, sometimes this comes across as just, she was a little arrogant, but it's like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel...
Feels forced.
And then...
They turned her into Lucy Van Pelt is what they did. She's just... fucking unlikable. She's gonna take the football away from sad sack Obi-Wan.
I don't know. I see what they're trying to do. I just don't think it translates well. And also for somebody who's a royal, and who, is grown up, waving, and says they make a point about how she knows the drill and she has to wave at everybody and she doesn't want to wave anymore. And she's a royal, so she's used to bodyguards, she's used to protection, she's used to, knowing people are after her. She sure as hell seems to not understand when the situation's dangerous. Oh, you're a Jedi? Make me fly, I'm going to spin in a circle, make me fly. I'm like, no, she's a royal. She wouldn't be behaving like that.
I was thinking you said she's used to protection. I'm like, she should have used some with Han and we had to go through
Kylo Ren.
when they got in Kylo Ren.
But I'm just like, and then I don't know. I mean, then there's parts of it's just like she doesn't have any. She has zero grasp of the situation. Which she was a royal, she would have a grasp even as a child. The situation's, serious.
It's serious. I was joking on Twitter. I'm like, well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree because little kid Anakin was about as good, and that's what it is. I expected her to go like yippee as she's flying through the air or some shit. I was just like. Yeah, I mean, people are going to say bait and switch, and I, in this case, I would agree because it's like we're led to believe this is going to be Obi-Wan watching over Luke. Well, they showed
the trailer; it was Luke, and he was looking at Luke in the trailer.
And within 10 minutes of it's like here's a whole adventure with little Princess Leia.
And there were 2 episodes in, and the next episode is still going to be a continuation of the Leia story because they have to get off the planet now and get back.
Yeah.
So we're at least halfway through the show is going to be all about Leia, and it's like and now again, there's still 6 episodes left. So we don't know what's going to happen the second half. And it might go to like what you're saying where they have like the lost story and all that. Then we have the Reva thing going on, which is not a big part of the show so far. I mean, it is, but it isn't.
Yeah, so this is the concern a lot of people had. And I am inclined to believe that the rumors about how this show ends are true based on the buildup we've seen in the first 2 episodes. That being said, she's not in it as much as I expected her to be. She might be in it more. There are some things that are going to irritate the shit out of people. That she is the one that tells Obi-Wan that Anakin's still alive and Darth Vader's.
Yeah, that's true.
That's going to irritate the shit out of people. She stabs the Grand Inquisitor, who is a big bad in Rebels, and she takes him out like a punk, just to show that she's like the bestest. Again, this is another case of here's a new character. We're going to introduce this new character that's... Now, I don't know, again, if Inquisitor's going to come back, which is possible, but just the idea that we've got this brand new character that comes in and does all these important things. Obi-Wan doesn't even find out for himself about Anakin. She drops the Inquisitor. She basically makes the other Inquisitors look like a bunch of whiny bitches. Mm-hmm. I mean, she is impulsive and yeah.
They established that she was one of the kids that were at the Jedi training when the Order 66 got executed.
Yeah.
And she's one of the ones that, said, we have to run. I'm sure that was supposed to be her. And they escape. So she was a Jedi in training originally and turned bad.
So did Obi-Wan, not take her with him?
There's probably a backstory because she really has it out for Obi-Wan, and it's probably some backstory where she wanted to go with him, and he said, "No, you stay here," and everybody got killed except for her, and she's pissed.
I don't know.
You're a coward, Obi-Wan.
So she knows. I mean, this kind of gets me too. So she knows that Anakin is Vader, and she just throws that around like nothing. And I thought that was like a well-kept secret that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader.
She's just like, oh, by the way,
your friend's still alive. Yeah, in case you missed the memo. Nobody's really supposed to know about that, but
no, he's still alive.
People were there. Yeah,
she's not. I mean,
she's good at parkour.
Yeah, she's very parkour, but to be fair, that would be a very Jedi thing to do. I mean, I thought that was very. Yeah. See, the thing is, there's some things, and I'm annoyed personally, but I have to look at it and be like, but would that make sense? And some of the things that I'm like, oh, of course. Also, but that makes sense. So I'm not going to be critical of that because it actually would make sense. So I don't want to do that, but I don't want to hate on something to hate on it. Like it has to have, make a point of why I don't like it. But she wasn't in it as much yet.
I am inclined to think the rumors are true based on what we've seen. Now, this is some very prequel era looking.
Oh, it was funny. People caught it too. They have Bail Organa talking to Leia later about someday you'll rule the kingdom and all this other crap, and I was like, no, you won't. We were making jokes like they'll look up, everybody's gonna look up at you, and I said they're all gonna look up at you and go, ah! As they're getting blasted. And stuff. So that was very kind of cringy. But yeah.
I mean, I really felt where's she running away here? They have the whole kidnap scene.
It's later, isn't it later? Like, there he's talking to everybody. You're gonna, one day you're gonna be in charge of this. And
Flea's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here they're running around the woods, and I'm like, I swear to God, this is the Ewok adventure. This is the Caravan of Courage. This was because they're running around in Northern California. It's almost like they went in the backyard of Lucasfilm. And they're like, let's go film some scenes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I think I'm running away.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. And look, objectively, I am completely checked out on Star Wars. Like,
But you were before it started.
I don't. Yeah, I guess my thing is, like, I'm not going to preemptively hate it, but I'm going to look at it more objectively. Like, my nostalgia goggles have been...
Once upon a time, you'd be like, yeah, whatever. But now
it's more like... Star Wars. Oh, my God. I love Star Wars. Anything Star Wars. I love it. Now I'm just like, oh, fuck, more Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's too much Star Wars and none of it's good. That's the problem.
Well, I'm hoping it gets better. But at least the first half's going to be the little Leia adventures, at least for the first half. Because
I think it's
partway through this adventure with Leia. So at least 1 or 2 more episodes is going to be about this.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan, I mean, I get it on some levels. I get that what they're going for. I think that, the allegory is there, and I get that. But it's also Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan went through a lot of shit. And as a Jedi, he's really trained, like mentally trained. And it was like nothing for him to sit around and wait 10 years. And he lost Qui-Gon and other things. I mean, granted, he lost everything here, but it doesn't seem like something that he would, a fate that would befall him.
Yeah, I'm just bored. It's just a boring show. It's like, I mean, this is right there with like Book of Boba Fett too. I watched like an episode or two of that and I checked out because I'm like, I'm just fucking bored. I mean, yeah, they ruined Boba Fett, but beyond that, I'm just bored.
Well, now I'm just like, I find Leia annoying,
grating.
And I hate that because I mean I always love Leia, but I'm just like
I saw, I think it was Critical Drinker said on Twitter that was like they actually did something I didn't think was possible, which is make Princess Leia unlikable. And little Leia is an insufferable brat.
Well, she's just like, she's just like, I get it. Like, she always didn't listen either when they were rescuing her. She was like, into the, garbage chute, flyboy, and put him into another situation that was worse. And, she doesn't sit and wait. And they have that here, too, with her. But some of the things that she does wouldn't make sense, especially when she would know her situation. You know what I mean? Since she was little, she as a royal, it would be one thing, you'd know. But it was interesting to me when you go out to the Rotten Tomatoes, the potato meter, which is like the critical score, is 88%. But when we were clicking on this earlier to look at the reviews, there aren't any. So how is it 88%?
There are no reviews.
Unless it's a glitch. Yeah, but the audiences are there. Now, I mean, again, I always say, and I stick by this, if it says like 1 star or less or 5 stars, I kind of like take it with a grain of salt because, I don't buy either one of those. I think the truth lies in the middle. But, it's not doing that great.
I agree with this one down here. It's like, what is this? Randy B. As per almost all Disney Star Wars content, this is such a wasted opportunity. Cringy villains that can't outrun a 10-year-old, poor dialogue. Nothing aside from McGregor can be taken seriously. It's just boring as fuck. The show is boring. And if they obviously the show's kind of going to break canon anyway. You can tell they're already.
But to be fair, Lucas broke canon several times.
Lucas broke canon.
I mean, if we're going to be fair.
Yeah, because I remember watching the prequels. And I'm like, wait, who the hell is Qui-Gon Jinn? Yoda trained Obi-Wan.
Right.
What? I mean, I came to love Qui-Gon Jinn, but I was like, this literally makes no sense because he kept talking about Master Yoda training him. It's like, oh yeah, Master Yoda just trained him through kindergarten, and then Qui-Gon took over.
Yeah, It's like, it's like I'm a great artist now, but my art teacher in kindergarten is the only art teacher I credit. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then Leia, like you said, he said his name was Ben. Did he say his name was Ben?
He said his name was Ben. Yeah.
So that might be why she didn't realize it was Obi-Wan was the same person. But otherwise it was like, that doesn't make any sense.
So now they're going to be like, and this is why I'm naming my child Ben, because I met Ben.
And Ben saved me.
Even though Luke talked about Ben Kenobi.
Well,
she didn't seem too terribly heartbroken about like, I'm sorry you lost your friend, Luke. Okay, let's go kill some Imperials.
Well, I was thinking about, name them Ben for saving her. Here's the thing. He almost didn't save her because he couldn't get his force up for whatever reason. Or, but then she falls off a building. She gets down on the ground, and then she's like, gets up like, okay, what's next? I'm like, Yeah, even a child's going to be like really shook up. Have you ever dealt with children who get hurt or who face some kind of really tragic situation? I don't care how spunky that kid is. They're not going to get up and be like, let's go, you know? Yeah, they're not going to do that. So anyway.
I'm out. I can't. I mean, I'll maybe watch more, but I'm thinking like this is D level, especially after. I mean, again, I'm gonna be biased because one, I'm completely over Disney Star Wars, and two, we watched Stranger Things 4, which was pretty damn excellent, and watching this after watching Stranger Things was like, what the hell kind of shit is this?
We should have watched it in reverse order. Anyway, we're wrapping it up. Yeah,
we're gonna wrap it up. So, what's your grade? Do you have a grade?
I don't know yet. I think it's too early to tell, but I mean, it's not gonna be. At this point, it's like a C.
Yeah.
You're gonna be probably meaner than I am.
Probably. I usually
What would you
am.
grade it?
I'm saying at this point, I'm if I had to go by these 2 episodes, C- or D.
Yeah.
I mean,
if it's just going by these 2 episodes, it might change. It might get more interesting. At least let us see stuff with Luke, because when you're thinking Tatooine and Obi-Wan, he was watching over Luke. I don't understand why we're on the little Leia adventure. I mean, nothing against Leia. I would absolutely love it if they did a Leia show. Like, I thought, to get Millie Bobby Brown, speaking of Stranger Things, she looks like Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, she does.
I think if they had her do like a Leia show, like some of her things that she was doing before A New Hope, I think that would be a really, really good show, and I'd watch the hell out of that. But I just think it doesn't make sense to put little Leia on the Obi-Wan show. It just, to me, I mean, I get it, but because he knew where she was. But then nothing makes sense. Why would they put Luke on Tatooine, which would be the first place Anakin would have looked?
I know. A lot of things don't make sense. And you can tell with the original trilogy, again, not to bust on the Holy Trilogy, but you can tell that Lucas was winging it because.
But you can tell he's thinking of one thing, and
they went with something else.
They changed it. Something else.
Yeah.
Anyway, wrap this up.
We're gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.